Center on Cuba, where prisoners are staging a mass hunger strike in protest at being held indefinitely without trial. Mr. Obama says he doesn't want any prisoners to die, and he's called on Congress to help him find a long-term legal solution to the problem. There are currently 166 prisoners being held in Guantanamo Bay. It's thought 100 of them are currently on hunger strike, and 21 are now being force-fed by medical staff. As our correspondent Jonathan Beale reports.
It's where the US military act as jailer, judge and jury to men captured in President Bush's war on terror. Some have been left in legal limbo here for more than 10 years, out of reach and mostly out of sight. One of his first acts when he became president was to sign an order to shut Guantanamo down within a year. 5 years on, and it still hasn't happened. But today he insisted he hadn't given up.
I'm going to go back at this. I've asked my team to review everything that's currently being done in Guantanamo, everything that we can do administratively, and I'm going to re-engage with Congress to try to make the case that this is not something that's in the best interest of the American people.
And this is why he's had to renew old vows, a growing protest with most prisoners now refusing food.
These are the more compliant.
That's correct.
In the past, when I visited Guantanamo, medical staff were already well versed in explaining how they dealt with those on hunger strike.
This catheter is passed through the nostril, into the throat and into the stomach.
We saw the chair in which prisoners are restrained and force-fed. But this latest protest is on a much larger scale. Some say it's a sign of growing despair.
6 people have committed suicide in that camp and only 3 people have been convicted, and that's not very good odds for a place that's meant to bring justice to America. There will be deaths, there's no question about it.
President Obama says he doesn't want anyone to die, and an extra 40 medical staff have now been sent to deal with the protest. But he may find it harder to persuade a skeptical public to close down Guantanamo when the alternative's holding prisoners closer to home.
I think for a majority of the American public, it's out of sight and out of mind, and they kind of bought into the narrative, do whatever you've got to do to keep us safe from them. And as long as they view this as an us and them proposition, the public doesn't seem to care a lot.
Congress blocked his efforts to transfer some prisoners for trial in the US. The president says he'll start those talks afresh. But so far his words have not been matched by deeds. And for now, closing Guantanamo remains a promise unfulfilled. Jonathan Beale, BBC News.
2 men are on the run tonight